football commentary online at BBC Sports Scotland.
Welcome to Ibrox on a blustery and currently very rainy autumnal afternoon, and a fascinating match in prospect as in-form Hearts look to continue a positive start to the season and cause Russell Martin's Rangers further problems in what has been a challenging, to say the least, beginning to the new regime here at Ibrox. Unusually, Rangers are just making their way onto the pitch after Hearts. Usually the two teams come out together here at Ibrox. Not sure what the rationale behind that was, but anyway, they're both now out on the park and going through the handshakes as the rain just begins to ease off. The usual 4 seasons in one day in the south side of Glasgow at this time of year, and well, there's so much going on both at Rangers but also Hearts, having started the season in such positive fashion and looking to end a long winless run here at Ibrox and really set down a marker, you would have to say. If they could get a victory today, it would take them, already at this stage, it would take them 9 points clear of today's opponents. The captains and match referee Stephen McLean just getting their pictures taken on the halfway line as Hearts break off to our left hand side, with new goalkeeper Alexander Shvolov making his debut all in yellow, and it'll be interesting to see how much pressure he is put under by this Rangers side, who the manager has acknowledged need to create more opportunities and need to test the opposition goalkeeper for sure if they are to get their first win of the season in the league. We are just about good to go then as Stephen McLean makes his way to the centre circle, and Rangers just going through some final hand slapping before they break into their formation. Looks like Hearts will get us underway here. The in-form Claudio Braga and Benny Beningame inside the centre circle here. Hearts going from left to right at the start of this first period as we look at it from our position in the gantry in the main stand. Beningame then will get us underway. Rangers unchanged from that draw here against Celtic last time out. Benny Beningame rolls it back to Cammy Devlin, and we're off and running at Ibrox as McEntee wins the header, and it's picked up by Barron, who knocks it back to Magoma, and John Souttar still in that left centre-back position with new signing Derek Cornelius, who is a left-sided centre-back, but he's on the bench, and so Souttar and Giga keep their places. It's up to Asgård, who got that hat-trick for Norway during the week. Giga directs it back to Jack Butland again, just on his goal line. He plays it out to John Souttar as Rangers begin to come forward, and they'll be looking for a fast start to get the fans on side, because there's certainly the potential for this to turn pretty quickly if Hearts were to have the upper hand early on. Here's Tavernier out to Gassama, who's started on the right hand side as he did against Celtic. Clipped forward again by Tavernier, but that's easily cut out, and Hearts can try and build from the back. It's Beningame, and a nice ball forward there for Shanklin. Harry Milne looks to have started on the right hand side of a midfield for Hearts, which is certainly an unusual take. They look like they're in a back four as McEntee tries to play it up the line, and it's out of play. Early thoughts here of a man who's served both these clubs, Stephen Naismith.
Yeah, I think you're right in saying Milne started off on the right. Derek McInnes is going with a 4-4-2. I think their most prominent performances have been when they've been a back four and a 4-4-2, and I think the game in general will be an attacking game. Hearts have, as Derek McInnes said before, good attacking threat, and Rangers at home need to be attacking.
Ayr have gone one up on Ross County in the Championship early doors. Ethan Walker with the goal. Ross County having a poor time of it here at Ibrox. Hearts have won themselves a free kick in the right hand side in a decent position, and an early opportunity for Hearts to try and get on the scoreboard here as both managers prowl around their technical area, but definitely a chance here for potentially Stephen Kingsley or perhaps Kizaridis to put this into the penalty area. Kingsley with a left foot would be an in-swinger from the right-hand side. It's just a couple of yards in from the touchline, about 18 possibly from the goal line, as Rangers line up a two-man wall. It's left to Kizaridis, who will swing it in on the right foot. Not a bad ball, half cleared by Asghar. Devlin helps it back into the area. The header, the opportunity there, just over the top. It was Craig Halkett who got his head to it. That goes down as at least half a chance inside 3 minutes, but he couldn't get his header on target. 0-0.
That was a big chance. I think in that second phase of the set play, Halkett gets free and he's probably got more time than he expects. But for Rangers, that's probably been a soft point of them this season, set plays.
Here's Barron after Rangers having survived that moment. They come forward here. It's Gassama coming back onto the halfway line, plays it to Tavernier, who clips it out nicely to the left-hand side to Magoma. Clever first-time ball for Moore, and now trying to find Magoma once more. Back goes Harry Milne. Must say, I don't recall having seen him play that position before. I'm sure Derek McInnes has got something specific in mind in playing him there. He certainly started the season extremely well, as Magoma goes back to the halfway line to Giga. 3.5 minutes played, no goals at Ibrox, as Tavernier picks up, crosses the halfway line, comes in field and drives forward. Still he's going, but stopped in his tracks by a good challenge from Baningime. And here goes Braga now, left hand side. Barron trying to get back with him, sticks the foot in. I thought it came off Braga last actually, but the referee points for a Hearts throw out on the left hand side. 4 minutes played, no goals. Hearts, as you would expect, starting confidently.
I think that's been a big part of Hearts' recruitment. They've got players that are willing to take the ball.
Here comes Kizaridis coming in from the left hand side. Barron steps in, gets it clear as far as Mikey Moore. He comes away from McEntee. Challenge comes in from Milne. It was a fair one. Stephen McLean in a good position to identify that. Again, Rangers looking slightly hesitant at the back. Suter and Magoma almost leaving it to each other, but eventually they get it back to Butland. It's good, powerful header up towards Shanklin at the edge of the box, and he gets the shot away, and it's Butland who has to go down to his right hand side. And Hearts in these early stages looking the more threatening, but almost 5 played and it's still 0-0 as Majowski's penalised for a challenge in the halfway line. Hearts have already taken the free kick. Sorry, on you go, Steve.
Sorry, just touching on that. Hearts, as I said, with their recruitment, they've got players that are willing to take the ball under pressure, and they're the ones dictating play in this first 5 minutes.
Shanklin with the low effort just a moment ago, causing Butland forced into action for the first time. Good play from Diamonde, losing Baningime. The ball forwards, he's looking for Majowski, who was hoping it would come through for him, but it's easily cut out, and Hearts pick up once more. Devlin on the halfway line out to Kingsley, who hasn't had all that much game time in the early part of this season, but in from the start this afternoon. Here he is once more, just knocks it back the way to Finlay, who's been excellent in his early Hearts career. He plays it down that left hand side, looking for Kizaridis. Now it's picked up by Braga, who tries to get past Tavernier, and he's fouled by the Rangers captain, and Hearts get another free kick in a good position just to the left of the penalty area, and it's certainly the visitor who have started the brighter.
Hearts are looking really confident. Shankland and Braga are picking up great wee pockets just behind Rangers midfield. That's 2 or 3 times the balls went into them. They're comfortable, they're taking it, and they're developing the play, allowing Hearts back 4 and midfielders to get up the pitch. And as I said, they're the ones that have dictated this first 6.5 minutes.
And we've got, as I say, a free kick in another good position, almost exact opposite from where the previous one was, on the left-hand side. A little bit further in from the touchline, this one actually. And this is a real threat to the Rangers' goal. And the home side really need to be able to repel this, but Hearts looking for an early opening goal. Left-hand side, a couple of players over this. Again, it's Kingsley and Kizaridis, I think, over on that far side. Kizaridis with the right foot steps up, but he leaves it for Kingsley, who'll flight it in towards the back post. Scramble in there, who's it going to fall for? Devlin. Suter, as Asghar, who puts his body in the way. The referee spotted an infringement in there though, and points for a free kick to Rangers. McInnes, Derek McInnes down there asking for clarity there from Ian Snedden, the 4th official, but VAR looking for a delay here just to double check what was going on inside the penalty area, and there's a Hearts player requiring attention inside the box as well. But Rangers have the free kick, but VAR just checking what preceded that decision. Still 0-0 after 7.5 minutes.
Hearts have obviously got that set piece coach appointed this summer, and you can see that they're trying to work things round the back. They've got players doing some blocking, and it's as if they've got a few routines worked out, so I'm sure throughout the day we'll see more of that. Braga been down here, and Hearts subs are out warming up, which looks as if it's probably more serious than just a butt.
Yeah, I think it was a Braga who was just getting treatment a moment ago after the earlier challenge from Tavernier, so not sure if it was something that has recurred there. He's just jogging off, and Hearts will hope he's fine. The check that was taking place is over, so the game will resume with the Rangers free kick to be taken by Jack Butland. 8 minutes in, Hearts starting the better, and Rangers yet to really make an impression inside Hearts territory as Magoma just knocks it back to former Hearts man John Souttar. Plays it square to Giga, just inside his own half. Back with Souttar on the halfway line. Forward goes Magoma, he'll chase that and try and get beyond McEntee. Magoma got there first, but his cross was a poor one, and it's Milne that cuts it out and knocks it clear over the halfway line. That'll just drift out of play.
Moore's just plain tucked in that wee inside forward role, leaving Magoma that full channel on the outside. So effectively Milne's doing that right back role more than he would expect to. Moore's picking up the wee intelligent positions inside the pitch.
Here's Giga for Moore on the halfway line, trying to shrug off McEntee. In steps Milne and wins possession, and he'll continue to come forward. Souttar backing off him, pokes it forward Milne, but all the way through to Jack Butland. 9 played, no goals at Ibrox. We'll keep you up to date with all the goals that go in, certainly in the top flight, and do our best in terms of the championship as well. As here's Diamonde out to Magoma left hand side. The 19-year-old alone from Brentford rolls it back to Souttar, closed down by Braga, looks to be fine after a bit of early treatment. Tavernier now out to the right hand side to Asgar. Now Gassama, who has certainly looked more threatening when he's played on the left hand side, but been asked to play on the right once more. Barron runs into trouble, then the clearance just rattles off the chest of Gassama, who's gone down, but Rangers continue in possession. It's Barron into the near post, but easily cleared by Finlay. Gassama's still down there. Asgar picks up and knocks it back to Diamonde. Gassama's in a bit of distress there. I'm surprised the referee hasn't eventually stopped the game, even though it's not a head knock. He certainly took a clearance right in the chest, and the referee now blows the whistle and allows the Rangers medical team to come on. He'll probably be winded, I would imagine, because of the ferocity and the proximity of that clearance right into his body. But 10.5 minutes in, and Rangers probably haven't started the way certainly the fans would have hoped they would, and probably not Russell Martin either.
Just before the game stopped there, it's the first time that Rangers had the ball in the final third, were comfortable passing the ball around, waiting for that moment to play forward. I think that's, being at home, Rangers want the game to be played there as much as possible, but as I said, the first 10 minutes Hearts have looked composed, comfortable out of possession. They've got a good shape, and they've looked the most comfortable and settled team. I think Rangers would want a bit more urgency and more shots on goal.
Hearts haven't won here since March 2012 in the Premiership. It's not a pretty record they have here, but they'll come here certainly not necessarily an expectation of a positive result, but with more optimism than perhaps at any time of late.
Not often the Hearts come here on 10 points and Rangers on 4. It's a bit of a gap in the league table, so that will breed a lot of confidence from the first 4 games of the season.
Sama still struggling over there on the far side. He's been taken off the pitch, which should allow the game to restart with a drop ball to Rangers. Souttar gets it and plays it to Giga just inside his own half. He's going to go back to Butland at the edge of his penalty area. The Rangers keeper. The game's involving Hearts so far have been full of goals. They've scored more than anyone else in the top flight, conceded almost as many as anyone else. Livingston the only side that have conceded more. It's Braga's brought to the ground there. Clumsy challenge by Giga, and
that's just another example there of Shankland and Braga linking up, keeping the ball in the Rangers attacking half, and they win the free kick.
Sama's back on the field of play. Everyone back for Rangers though, as Devlin prepares to take the free kick. He's calling Harry Milne back in towards him. Free kick just a few yards outside the centre circle towards the Rangers goal. Looks like actually Milne might clip this one in himself, left-footed. He does, sends it towards the far post. Looks like he's got just too much on it. It is blustery here for sure, and difficult to judge those ones, and that bounces behind for a Rangers goal kick. 13 minutes played, no goals at Ibrox, no goals in the other top flight games either. Remember Hibs Dundee United later on, live coverage of that to come as Tavernier goes forward and into the chest of Majowski, with Youssef Chermiti, the new big money signing from Everton, sitting on the bench, prepared to come on perhaps later in the game. Here's Giga, midway inside his own half, plays it short to Suter, into the feet of Moore, back with Suter once more. Magoma's made a promising looking run. Suter tries to find him. Milne goes back there, nods it down. Magoma sticks the boot in, high boot in the referee's view, signals it was head height, and Hearts get the free kick, much to the dismay of the home fans.
It's clearly a tactic down this left-hand side. Magoma's got a huge channel. That's 3 or 4 times John Suter's got the ball, and he's just feeding the ball right down that channel. Moore trying to draw out McAtee out of the right back spot.
Looks fast, certainly, Magoma, and going to try and use that. But Hearts free kick, and pretty much a first touch here for Alexander Shvolov, the German, brought in just in the final stages of the window. Suter heads out of play just outside his own penalty area. Hearts throwing well into Rangers territory, right hand side, as Harry Milne prepares to take this one. Hearts looking for an opening goal here to really raise the stakes even further at Ibrox. Majowski heads back to help out his defence there, as Milne takes it short into Kisariris. Here he is, the winger, into Beningame, who tried to feed it for Milne and made a decent run. Mikey Moore picks up though, and Rangers get the throw in this near side, midway inside their own half, quickly taken by Diamondi. Back to Connor Barron, who did play well against Celtic in the last game, justifying his starting place once more, as Gassama is dispossessed easily by Kingsley on the halfway line. Into Beningame it comes. Beningame comes forward for Hearts, tries to slide it forward. It's Milne in a good position, he'll go for goal. It comes off the back of Giga, breaks out to the left hand side. Kisariris picks up, goes back the way and out to the left to Kingsley. That's come off Tavernier and out for a throw-in on the far side to Hearts, who continue to look promising in the early stages. Just over a quarter of an hour played, and we're still waiting for the first goal here. Russell Martin crouched down at the edge of his technical area. Really needs a better performance from his side today. Certainly was signs of improvement against Celtic without overly offering a goal threat. They've got some defending to do here as it comes into the penalty area, headed away by Tavernier. Asgar will try and force it further forward, but Hearts pick up once more, and it's Beningame trying to fire it out in the diagonal to the left hand side, nodded down for Kisariris, left hand side, closed down by Gassama, gets the pass off to Devlin. Beningame available again, midway inside the Rangers half. First touch wasn't great, and he has to go all the way back to Shvolov. Midway inside his own half, he fires it forward, straight through the middle. Braga will go and contest that with Tavernier. It breaks the way of Giga, who tries to help it forwards. Unconvincing ball though, and Halkett gets it back out to the left hand side for Kisariris. He got that winning goal against Livingston last time out off the bench. Here he is once more, through the legs of Tavernier. Was he caught? No, the referee says no, and Rangers play it up to Asgar. Majowski with a little flick into Moore. He leaves it for Diamondi, who's on his heels but just manages to get it back to Magoma. There's a Hearts player down over on the far side, but Hearts have won it back in any case. I think it's Kisariris slowly picking himself up over on the far side, but Hearts winning possession back, and Devlin plays it to Halkett, who's had one of the best opportunities these early stages, knocking the header over the crossbar. Here's McEntee right hand side, again having to operate as a right back. Then Diamonde goes down as if he was caught by Milne. Didn't seem to be much in it. It will be a Hearts throw-in.
I think looking at this Rangers team, everybody's sitting waiting for something to happen. There's not enough players on the pitch that are sitting here going, I'm going to be the one that makes it happen, which is allowing Hearts to grow in confidence and, as I've said, dictate the game.
McEntee throwing, played forward by Shankland down the right, one for Braga to chase. Suter's with him. Suter trying to see it out of play, and he manages to do so, showing good strength. And it'll be a Rangers goal kick, quickly taken by Butland for Giga. No goals here, no goals in the other top flight games. Ayr leading Ross County at Somerset by a 0-0 in the Championship, as Giga picks up once more and plays it square to Suter, about midway inside his own half, back to the edge of the penalty area as Hearts try and press now. Tavernier out to Osgar, who's been given a bit of licence to roam. He's on the right hand side now, plays it forward looking for Gassama, who slips, and Hearts easily pick up possession once more. An uninspiring start to the game, you would have to say, from the home side, but it's a poor clearance from Svolov. It breaks for Barron. Majowski's offside, might come for Moore though on the left flank here. Mikey Moore lays it into the penalty area, comes for Gassama, misses his kick. Majowski can't make anything of it, comes out to the right hand side for Asgar. Still it's alive for Rangers, back into the area, comes out to Megoma, who tried his luck from the edge of the box, blocked by Milne, and out for a throw-in. Better from Rangers, but it came from a Hearts mistake, and they couldn't capitalise, Rangers, as Moore gets it down at the left corner flag. Closely watched by Milne, back with John Suter now. Suter all the way back to the halfway line. Giga, forward it goes, but he's found Braga. He tries to poke it forward for Shankland, who'd gone offside and didn't chase the ball, and an opportunity there for Hearts goes a-begging.
I think it tells you where Rangers are at. Barron tries to play a ball through to Majowski, who's offside, but Moore reads it, gets onto it, plays the ball across the pitch. Gassama miskicks his shot from about 8 yards out, and they end up not getting a chance on goal because they've not got that confidence, clinical finishing, and again it just brings a bit of restlessness to the crowd.
Tavernier picking up for Rangers, trying to play it into the feet of Majowski, but again he can't find a man. And Devlin brings Hearts forward. It's Kizaridis now on the left hand side into the Rangers penalty area, cuts it back. Giga in the way, and Osgaard's dragged to the ground there by Devlin. Rangers free kick, and it remains 0-0, 20 minutes played, but well, pretty even so far. But Darren McInnes will be pleased by the way his side have started this game, certainly on the front foot.
Definitely, and they're not sitting in a low block. They're pressing at the right times. They're going man for man out of possession, which is allowing them to have bodies up the pitch when they win the ball.
Rangers have it. Tavernier into Giga. Now Suter. Moore into Diamonde and back to Giga once more. Tavernier has it, but 10 yards inside his own half. Brings it forward and plays it to Gassama, right hand side. Now it's Tavernier. Not sure if he was looking for Barron or Majowski there, but either way, didn't find a man, and Shankland forces it forward to Braga now, inside the penalty area for Hearts. Slips it to Shankland. Shankland gets the shot off, scores!
I think this might get ruled out.
Well, Lawrence Shankland for the moment has given Hearts the lead. Fine finish on the left foot, past the diving Jack Butland into the far post area, and Hearts have the advantage. And for the moment at least, it's Rangers 0, Hearts 1.
I said before, Shankland and Braga have been a real problem. Again, the link-up player. I'm just not sure if it hits Shankland in the hand, which is it early enough in the move that it won't be counted as happening, but it looks as if it touches him in the arm. But from a Hearts point of view, it's a brilliant attack. It's two really intelligent players working the ball well, and as Lawrence Shankland's done for the last 3 years, some brilliant finishes, and this one's in his left foot from a narrow angle right across Butland.
Yeah, there were certainly claims earlier in the move of a handball by Shankland. The check is complete, the goal stands, and Lawrence Shankland celebrates, giving Hearts, the leads at Ibrox. James Tavernier having a discussion here with Stephen McLean, but whatever has gone on in the build-up has been cleared. Now the Rangers fans begin to voice their displeasure. Well, we always knew that if Hearts were able to get the advantage, things could turn. And Rangers have fallen behind. Well,
you can't say that Hearts haven't deserved this, Al. They've played with a confidence, they've sat in their shape out of possession at the right times, and they've looked a threat. They've looked more of a threat than Rangers have.
5th goal of the season for Lawrence Shankland, 2nd in the league. Rangers trail at Ibrox without a win in the league so far this season. Gassama has on his side a free kick, running into traffic there. But, well, the mood has turned a little bit darker again here at Ibrox among the home fans as Moores forced back the way. But Hearts certainly starting the better of the two sides, and they've got the goal through Lawrence Shankland. A long-term Rangers target, I don't think that's any secret. But he's very much a Hearts player as Rangers come forward looking for an equaliser. It's Mikey Moore, left-hand side, stumbles but gets the ball to Diamondi. Back now with Magoma. Magoma closed down and forced back the way onto the halfway line for Giga. Looks a little bit nervous. Barron for Tavernier inside the centre circle. Now Giga. Asgard's in plenty room right-hand side. Rangers have a lot of work to do to try and turn this around. 24 minutes played, they trail by a goal to nil. It's Connor Barron, short for Tavernier, midway inside the Hearts half. Out to Gassama right hand side. Pokes it into Asgard inside the penalty area, cuts it across. Majowski just behind Tim. Hearts work it clear. It's gone out for a corner kick over on the far side. The Rangers right. Well, Rangers could really do with a quick goal back, Stephen, because I think the supporters going to become more and more unsettled the longer this deficit remains.
Yeah, so I think the Rangers have lacked urgency in the attack. They've not had a real clear-cut chance that you can say has lifted the crowd, and there is a lot of frustration in here at the moment. The best thing they could do is get one back soon.
Mikey Moore over on that far side, the Rangers right to take the corner. 20 bodies in blue looking to try and get on the end of this. Moore thought about a short corner there, then he swings it in. Shankland at the near post gets it clear as far as Magoma gets it back out to the left hand side for Tello Asgard. Turns away here from McIntyre, then goes back inside and he almost overdoes it. Closed down by Beningame. It's good retention of possession initially by Asgard. Can't get the pass off. It will be a Rangers throw in on the left hand side, midway inside the Hearts half. Magoma looking for options. Rangers 0, Hearts 1. 25 and a half played. Now a Hearts player's gone down off the ball. It's Braga. He gets himself back up as Rangers continue in possession. Tavernier now on the halfway line, plays it infield to Giga. Now Diamondi. Giga once more to Suter. And back to Tavernier.
Hearts are doing a really good job of closing that middle of the pitch, and it's making Rangers just pass the ball around the back, and that's suiting Hearts perfectly fine at the moment.
Here's Suter trying to drive Rangers forward. Never looked quite as comfortable doing it coming out on the left centre back, and he's just run into Harry Milne there, and Milne begins the next counter attack, and it's going to be taken on by Kizaridis at the edge of the penalty area. Slips it to Milne, who's got up in support. Right footed cross towards the back post, and Asgard has to turn it behind and listen to the boos from the Rangers fans who do not like what they're seeing one bit. 26 and a half minutes played, and it is Rangers 0, Hearts 1, and Hearts looking to try and add to their advantage here with the corner.
Yeah, it's all very slow for Rangers going forward. They're then committing bodies forward, and then when the ball turns over, there's so much space for Hearts who are working from a really good shape to play the ball forward and have quick attacks, which has now led to another corner. But these are all the things, Hearts are doing all the things Rangers aren't at the moment, and it's making them feel like the more comfortable team.
Harry Milne to take this from the left hand side, then left footed out swinger. There's Finlay winning the header, comes to Shankland, who'll try and turn it across goal but doesn't make the connection he was looking for, and behind for a goal kick, but he's the man who's made the difference in these early stages with the goal. Just going back to the goal, Steve, could Butland have done better? It comes right across his body from Shankland on the left-hand side.
It looked a really tight angle, but you're talking about Lon Shankland, who's an exquisite finisher. Without seeing it back, I'm not sure, but it was from a narrow angle, so it's probably one of the first areas you would look at. But the move itself was perfect from Hearts, really good. Guys that are on the same page. And the start of this game has all been about Hearts, I would say. Rangers are very passive, very slow, and lacking creativity.
Here's Diamond, the edge of the box, though. Picks up from Mikey Moore, out to the left-hand side to Magoma. Magoma onto the right foot, will try and cross towards the back post. Doesn't reach Gassama, though. Headed away by Kingsley, but Gassama eventually picks up, pokes it back to Barron. Barron into Diamondi. 22 yards from goal, deflected wide by McEntee, who's out quickly to make the block. Rangers corner, bit better from Rangers, 28 in. They trail by a goal to nil.
First bit of urgency from Rangers, and they start to open up their wee spaces between the defenders. Diamandi gets his shot off, well blocked, but Rangers need to use this slight focus and attack.
Tavernier then on the left-hand side to swing in a corner as Rangers look for a leveller before the half-hour mark. The referee just having a word with a bunch of players inside that penalty area as they jostle for space. Tavernier then gives the signal with the left arm raised before swinging it in towards the back post. It's won by Craig Halkett inside his own 6-yard box. It'll come back out to the left-hand side. Tavernier looking for a quick throw-in. Cross steps Cam Devlin, though, up towards Braga, comes off Barron, and it's just not happening for Rangers in these early stages. It's a familiar story for the start of the season, and as much as Russell Martin has had a couple of weeks to work with the players who weren't away on international duty, there's not a great deal has changed in terms of the quickness of play, the patterns of play, the desire to go and take the game to the opposition. As Hearts pick up a free kick in the middle of the park as Devlin was caught, and they'll have a free kick just inside Rangers territory. They played 29 and a half minutes, almost a half hour. It's Rangers 0, Hearts 1.
Yep, the biggest thing missing for Rangers is urgency. I think from the result against Celtic defensively, it was good. Maybe didn't create as much and have as big a threat. And today's much the same. It's passive going forward. It's letting Hearts get back into their shape.
Steve McLean wants the free kick taken again, which probably worked out okay for Hearts because Magoma has cut out the ball, the disguised ball played forward for Braga, but Harry Milne will get another go at it here. 10 yards inside the Rangers half, right of centre, and an opportunity potentially to try and create a second goal here for the visitors. Milne sends this one towards the back post, but Tavernier just lets that bounce behind. It's going to be a Rangers goal kick, but the home side, they trail by a goal to nil. They're winless in 4 since beating Alloa here in the League Cup. And that's their only win in 7. Drawn 3 and lost 3 in that period, having gone out of the Champions League qualifiers. And really you feel this is a game they absolutely have to win to get the fans at least partially back on side and believing in the whole philosophy of things. Dundee 0, Motherwell 1. Maswanisi has got the goal there at Dens Park. First goal out with the one we've had here at Ibrox in the Premiership, as Magoma picks up left-hand side and plays it to Moore. Moore in off the left. Caught there by McEntee, I thought, but eventually overrunning it and nothing given as Braga now picks up and begins to run at Suter up towards the edge of the Rangers penalty area. Milne comes up in support, uses him as a decoy. It's still Braga. Braga out to the left-hand side, out to Kingsley. Kingsley with the first touch and then a low ball attempted, but Tavernier cuts that one out.
Rangers are playing the game all in front of Hearts. Moore comes in off the wing there. He's vulnerable as soon as he loses the ball. Hearts are picking up that second ball, driving up the pitch, and as most of the game's been done, played in Rangers half of the pitch.
And this throw-in will allow Stephen Kingsley to try and potentially use his ability to get plenty of distance on the throws. Left-hand side, pretty much in line with the penalty area. and it comes from the fullback towards the near post. Tavernier gets first contact. Gassama deep in his own half, trying to get it clear. He goes down, minimal contact, but Stephen McLean gives Rangers the free kick. One thing I want to ask you about Gassama, he's operating on the right hand side again. He's one of the few players who you might even describe as a success story, if you like, at the start of the season, but mainly operating on the left. Because Rangers, you know, they've got a surplus almost of people who want to play in the left wing, mainly right-sided wingers. So Gassama now is the one who's been asked to play on that flank, but he seems to be less influential on that side. You don't want to get him on the left.
Yeah, I think the last few weeks or last few performances, he's definitely been much quieter. He's definitely a threat. He's somebody who's got that drop of the shoulder, but he has been less influential, whether that's them moving out to the right or just his inexperience and youthfulness. But these are the guys that Rangers are needing in these type of situations, to stand up, be counted, and play with that freedom he has shown in Europe.
Yeah, I mean, they've got Mikey Moore playing there just now, and he was second to that ball that was played forward. McEntee just seemed to want it more, and the Rangers fans not happy, and clearly, I mean, that's going to be tough for the 18-year-old to deal with. But here come Rangers through Diamondi. Now it is Gassama right hand side, back with Diamondi midway inside the Hearts half, back to Tavernier. Tavernier as the captain has a real responsibility to try and lift the team. Barron's ball forwards, a poor one all the way through to Shvolov, who's been untroubled in the Hearts goal in the opening 34 minutes almost, as Hearts continue to lead by a goal to nil. But just what you were talking about, Hearts signing policy. I mean, they brought in Gassama, they brought in Moore, they brought in Antman. I know Antman's played right wing, but again he's right-footed, and I think naturally wants to play as an inside forward rather than an out-and-out right winger, where he started for Rangers. And they've even got Finlay Curtis, who was at the club, but he again is right-footed and wants to ideally play on the left. They've not invested in a left-sided player, or sorry, a left-footed player who would naturally want to come in off the right.
Yeah, listen, I think all of them can do a job both sides, but it's a bit like Rangers' performance today. I think too many are hoping somebody will do something to get them going.
Here's McEntee right hand side into the area, away by Giga, picked up by Diamondi, into the feet of Moore, deep in his own territory. He's lost it. It's Devlin and Milne, and now Braga at the edge of the box. Moore gets back to recover and finds Suter, and now Magoma left hand side. Hearts are working ever so hard to try and keep Rangers pinned in whenever they do lose possession in that kind of area, and Rangers are finding it ever so difficult to play around the press. 10 minutes to the interval, and it's Rangers 0, Hearts 1, as Butland picks up inside his 6-yard box. And Rangers, I don't think they had a shot on target in the Old Firm game, and I certainly can't recall one so far this afternoon either, and that is simply not good enough, as Hearts again win the ball back in the midfield, and it's Beningame on the halfway line into Milne. Braga tries the little dummy there. Rangers win it back, but only momentarily, as McEntee again slides in ahead of Moore, and now Braga will try and get onto that, but Magoma has won it back for Rangers and plays it to Butland. It wasn't a particularly good pass back, but Butland gets it back to Magoma, who'll try and clear, picked up by Asgard just outside his own penalty area. Rangers need him in a more attacking area to try and create, but all the creativity has come from the visitors so far. 1-0 they lead here at Ibrox as Giga brings it forward. Again, Rangers lacking inspiration. Here's Suter for Magoma. Magoma begins to bring Rangers forward, out to the left for Moore. Moore up against McEntee, cutting in onto his right foot once more. Plays it into the box, looking for Osgard, but Beningame's there first. Hearts get it clear, but Suter steps in. And then Milne, I don't think he was caught, and the referee keeps his whistle silent. Comes to Asgard, he'll cuddle it. Oh, what a save that is! I think that was attempted as a cross, but Shvolov has to make the save to tip it onto the crossbar and away for a corner. I might be doing Asgard an injustice there. Might have been going for the top corner. He almost found it one way or the other, but a terrific save from Shvolov, the debutant, to keep Hearts in front.
It's a brilliant save. And to be honest, it's that moment of magic for Asgard. He's the one player that's probably wanting it, trying to do something in the game. But too many Rangers players are hoping somebody else steps up. That's the biggest problem here. Miofsky's starting to get frustrated. He's making great runs on that final line and not getting played in, which is building a wee bit of frustration for him.
Rangers corner, right hand side, taken by Moore, the outswinger. Again, it's Halkett who gets first to it. Rangers seldom seem to win these corner situations. Gassama tries to feed it back to Moore, but it's been cut out, and Hearts will come on the counter, and it's Shankland into Kizaridis, back out to the left for Shankland. Derek McInnes waving his players up to the halfway line. Those of a defensive nature, but the rest of the team well into the Rangers half now. Devlin back to Finlay just inside his own half, and plays it square to McEntee. McEntee out to the right hand side for Milne. 37, almost 38 played. Rangers trailing by a goal to nil as Moore picks up. He goes down again under minimal contact, doesn't get anything from the referee, and it'll be a Hearts throw in just down in front of Derek McInnes' technical area. 7 minutes left in the first period. Lawrence Shankland's goal after 22 continues to separate the sides as McEntee prepares to take this throw in just inside his own half, right hand side for Hearts. Down the line it comes, flicked on by Shankland. Braga will try and help it on. Suter up there with him. Barron hooks it over his head. Majowski wins the header, but there's no one up there in support as he flicks it on, and then Finlay plays it forward for Hearts, and Milne will get onto that right hand side but just nods it out of play for a Rangers goal kick. And the frustration around Ibrox for those of a Rangers bent continues to grow. Hearts though, with their band of 2,000 or 3,000 fans over in that far corner, well pleased with the way things are going. He's Asgard, who's looked liveliest for Rangers. Now Moore left hand side, looking to take on McEntee on the outside. Then he checks back with McEntee stumbling. Back to Magoma back infield to Barron, midway inside the Hearts half. Asgard comes and shows once more, quickly closed down, it's a poor pass. Devlin picks up from Milne, and Braga behind Shankland, but when Moore gets the better of McEntee there, he checks back again. There's that lack of, as you say, people taking on the responsibility to try and make something happen.
Yeah, it's a bit of that, and I don't think Rangers have asked Hearts to defend enough. That's a prime example. He gets his yard, there's bodies in the box, they've made good runs. Ask Hearts to defend, and that's not what Rangers have done. Diamonde
looking to try and thread it for Majowski. Out comes Frolov though. It wasn't a great pass from Diamonde behind Majowski, and he has cut a frustrated figure, the North Macedonian striker, thus far in his second start for Rangers. Very, very few opportunities as Frolov, who made that terrific save to keep out Asgard's effort just a few minutes ago to preserve his side's advantage. Out for a throw in this near side to Hearts on the halfway line, right hand side, and McEntee will take this. 5 left in the first period. Rangers 0, Hearts 1.
Miofsky's made their runs. He's the type of player that plays in that last line, and he's made so many, and it's that fine balance. If it's not played quick enough, he's offside and he's not involved in the attack. That's happened far too much for Rangers lighting.
Here's Braga, right hand side for Hearts. Barron with him, tries to get the better of him, comes off Barron last despite his protestations, and Hearts will get the throw in about 10 or 15 yards from the corner flag as they attack down the right hand side. Across comes Milne. Hearts only defeat this season has come on penalties against St Mirren in their 9 games so far, and they lead here as Milne takes it short to Kizaridis on the right hand side. The Greek comes in field to Beningame and then back the way to the edge of the centre circle for Finlay. Finlay will try and clip it back out towards Milne on the right hand side. He heads it back to Kizaridis once more, midway inside the Rangers half. Again it'll come back to Finlay, he's the last man, and he'll not take any chances as he knocks it back to Shvolov, who's just out to the right of his area, and the German goalkeeper goes long up towards Braga, just lets it bounce off him, and it finds Kizaridis. Now Shankland just outside the area. Kizaridis once more for Braga, tries to find them again. Good challenge from Giga, it had to be, otherwise Hearts could have been in again. Devlin tries the shot and the volley there as it comes out to him, that's blocked, but Hearts again picking up the loose ball, and it comes to Kizaridis, who's looked lively, tries to feed it there for Kingsley. Back goes Gassama to see it out of play. The referee takes a look and then points for the goal kick. Wasn't entirely clear who that came off last, but Stephen McLean decides it was the Hearts player. Rangers take the goal kick quickly, play it short. Now it's Magoma back into his penalty area to Suter. Rangers simply haven't got going in this first period, and the restlessness around Ibrox is pretty palpable.
Rangers have started with their goal kicks quick every time, and not once have they played through Hearts. They've not been allowed to get through Hearts, which is a mixture of Hearts is switched on and been well organised, but Rangers are far too slow with these forward passes, and it's just it's making their job much harder to break Hearts down.
Suter gets it back from Asgard. The boos ringing round Ibrox, I think because of the slow play here. They're going back the way, letting the team know that they want them to come forward, and that it must be difficult to deal with that from the stands when you're under pressure, but those are the expectations at a club like Rangers. Here's Asgard trying to drive them forward. Out to the left hand side it comes to Moore, up against Milne, comes inside him, low ball in's a poor one and easily dealt with by McEntee over the halfway line. You can only imagine what the reaction is going to be like at half time if the scoreline remains as it is just now, which is Hearts leading by a goal to nil. Here's Giga on the halfway line, out to the right hand side to Gassama. Midway inside the Hearts half, nutmeg on Kingsley, then the ball into the box, headed away by Halkett, back out to the right to Gassama once more, plays it back the way looking for Diamondi. He has to stretch, does well, then slides in once more. Could be a chance here for Majowski, but he can't get the shot or the header away, and it's an easy take in the end from Svolov. Just looked undecided there, Majowski, as to how best to try and take that on, and it ends up in the arms comfortably of Svolov, the Debussy goalkeeper. 44 played at Ibrox. Rangers 0, Hearts 1.
Yeah, I think the bounce of the ball went against Majowski there, but his movement is exactly what he's about. First to react onto the ball, and he's just unfortunately the bounce of the ball went up and he couldn't get his head onto it.
Rangers then looking for perhaps one more opportunity before the interval to try and find a leveller, but their opportunities have been very much limited by Hearts' good defensive play, and indeed Hearts' tendency to be playing on the front foot rather than doing any defending, as Magoma has it left hand side for Rangers. Back to Suter just inside the Hearts half, short ball into Asgard, and now Barron midway inside the Hearts half, thought about going back the way, thought better of it. Now it's Magoma, he'll go back to Suter into the feet of Diamondi. Now it's Barron left hand side, clips that in. It's a hopeful ball more than anything else, and it's dealt with by Halkett. Braga now nods it down to Shanklin, who looks for Kieserides to test the pace of Tavernier, who manages to get there first and knock it back to Jack Butland. Approaching 45 minutes here, looking for the fourth officials board. It shows 3 minutes of added on time at the end of this first period. We're into that now, as Tavernier picks up right hand side, right on the halfway line now, closed down by Devlin, checks back at himself and plays it into Suter just inside his own half. Bounding forward comes John Suter, now looking for options. He has to stop, plays it infield once more to Tavernier, out to Gassama right hand side, up against Kingsley, feints a couple of times before going back the way once more to Giga square for Suter just outside the centre circle. Now it's Asgard midway inside the Hearts half, up against Beningame here, tries to drop the shoulder, doesn't fool the Hearts midfielder. Now it's Magoma back to Asgard once more, Giga again on the edge of the centre circle, comes out towards the right hand side. Gassama still very pedestrian from Rangers. Barron once more into Diamondi. Now it's Asgard about 30 yards from goal. You think about getting the shot away. No, he goes short to Diamondi, now out to the left for Magoma up against Milne here, looking to buy a bit of room for the cross, but Milne closes him down and it's out for a Rangers corner. 2 minutes of stoppage time remaining, still Rangers 0, Hearts 1, as Tavernier comes across and takes the corner. Maybe a final chance to lift the mood inside Ibrox before the interval, as Tavernier prepares to swing this one in from the left hand side. Rangers trail by a goal to nil, and it comes from Tavernier. Again it's Halkett meeting it, unchallenged there, gets it well clear, picked up by Magoma, out to the left hand side for Gassama. Gassama comes in on the right foot, opens up for him, 30 yards from goal, goes for goal, tips round the post. Better from Gassama, coming in off the left, where, as I mentioned earlier, Stephen, he always looks much more dangerous.
Yeah, he's a goal threat. It was a good strike, 25 yards out. gives them another corner, but Rangers really want something here.
Decent save that one by Svolov, certainly one you would expect him to make. In comes the corner from Tavernier again, punched away by Svolov this time under a bit of pressure, and Hearts get to it first through Braga. Gassama goes shoulder to shoulder and wins it on the halfway line, threads it forward, but he can't find Barron. Finlay gets it up towards Braga, and you'll keep it in just about on the far touch line. Rangers have it back. 30 seconds of injury time remaining. Can they find an equaliser? It's a better spell for Rangers, but they need to threaten once more here through Moore. Gets the better of McEntee. Across comes Milne to slide it out of play. Final few seconds of this first period. Magoma goes back the way with a throw in to Suter. Suter for Giga. The Rangers fans want this to go into the penalty area, but Rangers continue to build up slowly, and the referee is just going to bring proceedings to a close. As he does, well, listen to that. The boos ring round Ibrox as Rangers go in trailing once again at Ibrox. Shankland's goal is what separates the sides after 22 minutes, and Hearts deservedly going in front at half-time at Ibrox. It's Rangers 0, Hearts 1.
Any chance, Tom. They've not been in this game. They had that wee half chance for Miovski, but this is a huge second half ahead for Russell Martin.
It doesn't look like there's any cohesion there. It doesn't look like there's a discernible plan of playing, and it's just Hearts. This has been easy for Hearts.
Yeah, pictures of the Hearts fans in the corner there at Ibrox, absolutely delighted. They should be very proud with that first half performance from their team. We'll get all the half-time reports coming up in Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland.
Scottish football lives here.
What a goal!
This is Sports Sound
From BBC Radio Scotland.
Saturday morning, such a special time.
It's great to be back on the radio with you.
I'm Amy Irons.
I'm Stephen Mill.
Join us for the Saturday show. 3 hours of chat, guests, music, all the big stories of the week and sport.
If there's something happening in Scotland on a Saturday morning, we want to know about it. We want to be speaking about it.
And put a bit of a smile on your face. The Saturday show at 9 a.m. Listen on BBC Radio Scotland and on Sounds.
Yeah, tune into that new programme. I can tell you there's going to be loads of sport there, building up to, of course, Sports Sound every Saturday afternoon, and Off the Ball on before us. We gave it the big build-up, the game at Ibrox this afternoon. There's a commentary option there. It's Rangers against Hearts. Our commentary team is Stephen Naismith and Alistair Lamont.
Yeah, Kenny, we said beforehand that if Hearts were to get the upper hand in the early stages, that things could turn pretty moody here, for want of a better word, and that is exactly what happened. Hearts were the better side from the off. Craig Halkett threatening earlier on, sending a header off target just inside 3 minutes. Then Shankland had an effort saved, but it was just a sign of things to come, as Hearts did break the deadlock midway through the first period. Braga playing Shankland in, and from the left hand side of the penalty, from a pretty tight angle, certainly fired across Jack Butland and into the far corner. There was a check for a potential earlier handball on the move, but that was cleared, and Hearts had the opening goal. Rangers really, again, huffing and puffing here, offering very little going forward. Having said that, 8 minutes to the interval, they almost had the equaliser. Tello Asgar, it looked to me like he was trying to clip the ball to the back post, but it almost turned into a really good effort on goal, as the debuting goalkeeper Alexander Svolov had to dive up towards the top corner to push it onto the bar and away for a corner. Gassama in stoppage time had an effort saved, tipped round the post by Svolov, but it was an effort that Svolov was always looking comfortable with. And Stephen, as we've kind of been saying throughout that first period, Hearts are pretty much good value for the advantage they have.
They certainly are. They've looked, if you think to most games in Glasgow, Hearts have looked like the home team. They're the ones that are dictating the tempo of the game. They're the ones that are attacking quickly. They've had the best chances. Rangers' 2 good chances have come from individual moments. It's not been that they've carved Hearts open. Rangers are really passive. They're really slow. As I said in commentary, Butland's took quick goal kicks every opportunity, and not once have they played through Hearts. So Hearts have managed to get back in. So it just shows you that the forward passes are slow. They've not asked Hearts to defend, but Hearts look really confident. They've got a real understanding. Shanklin and Braga up top have been a great duo. They've kept the ball in the attacking half. They've allowed their team up the pitch, and they've attacked for the goal exactly. In the moments they've seen opportunity, they've went and taken it. There was maybe a slight concern that it might have been offset, a handball for the goal, but obviously wasn't. And Hearts have been real good value.
Yeah, pressure continues to build on Russell Martin. Hearts haven't beaten Rangers in the last 18 meetings since February 2020. They haven't won here in the last 17 visits since August 2014, and they haven't won here in the top flight since March 2012. All of those records could come to an end today unless Russell Martin and Rangers can spark a comeback in the second period. At half-time, it's Rangers 0, Hearts 1.
Thanks to Al and to Stephen. You'll hear both managers on Sports Sound later in the day. I remind you, we're on the telly today. BBC One Scotland, 4:30 until 5:20. Let's get to the game at Pittodrie. Aberdeen at home to Livingston. Get the half-time report from Willie Miller.
Yeah, Kenny, unfortunately for the fans here at Pittodrie, it's 0-0 at half-time, and not too many opportunities and chances to really speak about. In fact, the visitors have not produced any kind of a threat in front of goal. They've had plenty of the ball, they've plenty of intent, in and around the box, but very little creativity. But the same goes for Aberdeen. 3 opportunities I would give them. Auschwitz has one, he puts past the post. Jensen, after some really good build-up play down the right-hand side, again drags it past the far post. In fact, I think the goalkeeper gets a touch on it, and then Carlson kind of lifted the place with a good bit of skill. Dorrington played the pass forward. He takes a little touch over the defender's head and volleys it, but it goes into the side net. So really disappointing, I would suggest, for the Aberdeen fans here at half-time. It's 0-0.
Thank you to Willie Miller. Next stop, we have the game at Dens Park. Dundee at home to Motherwell. Let's hear from Alan Preston.
Half-time score, Kenny. Dundee 0, Motherwell 1, and it's been such a one-sided game. Till as the 10th minute, a free kick came in. Stamatolopoulos with a header just over the bar. Then Said with a hit. Maswanisi then had a shot over as well. Then a really good move, Longelo cross, Maswanisi header just wide of the target. Yogan had the solitary shot for Dundee in about 25 minutes, but the only goal of the first half came in 33 minutes. It was really good play. Longelo with a pass, Maswanisi goes by the defender as if he's not there and slips the ball through the keeper's legs into the back of the net. It was almost 2-0, good counter-attack. Longelo with his volley from a Said cross. Motherwell for 10 shots at goal to Dundee's 1. Yes, it is that one-sided. Half-time score, Dundee 0, Motherwell 1.
Yeah, Motherwell very, very impressive this season and coasting up there at Dens Park so far. A big second half ahead for Stephen Pressley, no doubt about that. Let's get to the game between Falkirk and St Mirren. Get the half-time report from Ian McCall.
Hi Kenny, it's 0-0 at half-time. The first 20 minutes, there's absolutely nothing to report except Shamal George taking a really, really heavy touch from kick-off, and allowing Ross McIver nearly to charge it down. Came to life a wee bit. There was 2 instances for St Mirren actually, both from Declan John crosses, both pretty similar. I mean, Phillips tries to volley one and he's taken it right off Mandron's head. That was after 23 minutes. Mandron looked as if he had an easy task to score, and then Mark O'Hara had a header as well from another Declan John cross on the 31st minute. For Falkirk, I think they played well. It's been an even game, but I think Falkirk have edged it. But just 2 instances right around the half-hour mark. There was a deep cross from Finn Yates, and it's right at the back post to Ross McIver, who's terrific in the air. Now Shamal George has come out and committed himself. Ross McIver has headed it down the way like strikers are told to, but if he just loops it up, it's a definite goal. But that resulted in the corner, and they played a terrific little short corner, and eventually, after a little bit of tramash, it came to Lewis Nielsen. He's 6 yards out on the volley, a decent height. He's really got to score, and that's been the best chance of the half. But not a lot of goal-mouth incidents, but a decent enough game, and it's 0-0 at the Falkirk Stadium. Thanks to Ian McCallson. The top flight, Aberdeen 0, Livingston 0, Dundee 0, Motherwell 1, Falkirk 0, St Mirren 0, Rangers 0, Hearts 1. 5:45 start at Easter Road. Full commentary to come. Hibs at home to Dundee United. We are covering 2 games in the Championship today. First stop, Starks Park. Wraith Rovers at home to St Johnstone. Let's hear from Chick Young.
Yep, Wraith Rovers 0, St Johnstone 1. We're not far away from the restart here, Kenny. It was pretty, no time added on. It was very efficient at the end of the first half. 1 goal has done it for St Johnstone. Sabide just broke the offside trap, the offside line, the very high defensive line from Raith Rovers. Right in front of me, actually, I could see he was onside. He was away, and he was 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper, Josh Ray. He drew him round about the penalty spot and simply slotted the ball beyond the goalkeeper into net. St Johnstone have been a fine team this season, and we saw them in day one against Partick Thistle, and they were absolutely outstanding, tearing the Jags apart. I think a 5-1 victory that day. 1-0 at the moment. Raith Rovers have had a couple of chances, to be fair, but there was a great little ball put across from Paul McMullen, and it was driven over the cross by Lewis Bond. And then there was a wonderful dancing run and an effort from Dylan Easton, who's always the man most likely to succeed, I think, for Raith Rovers. He's such a competent football player. Suns out here are playing some sweet football on the synthetic surface at Starks Park. It could still go either way. I still think there are more goals in this game, but it's St Johnstone, for me, who are probably worthy of the half-time wage, which stands at 1-0. And one word, Ken, a huge crowd inside, well over 5,000 at the game, and that's the teams coming out for the start of the second half now.
Yeah, brilliant to hear that big attendance, anticipating a good game so far. It certainly sounds decent. Let's get to Somerset Park. Ayr United at home to Ross County. Get the half-time report from Gully Singh.
Yeah, Kenny, Ayr United 1, Ross County 0. The story of the first half very much all being Ayr United. They set the tone from the get-go with an opening goal just after 2 minutes. The ball slipped through on the right-hand side. Dylan Watrett advanced forward, picked out Ethan Walker unmarked. He made no mistake as he lashed the ball into the net. Curtis Main's left-footed strike was moving in the air. Ross Laidlaw did well to put it out for a corner. That was on 9 minutes. Scott McCann, he had a header. It was in plenty of space on 23 minutes. He nodded wide though. Mark McKenzie fed a pass into McMahon just after the hour mark. He looked to have the beating of the keeper from just outside the box. He went narrowly wide. Curtis Main served up a volley, but it was straight down the throat of Laidlaw. Down the other end, Jay Henderson, former United player, of course, he looked to test the keeper. It was a packed box, but they did their job as they have all this first half. It went out for a corner. There a real lack of quality in the final third for Ross County. They'll need to find some answers in the second half as the teams come back out for this second 45. It's currently Ayr United 1, Ross County 0.
Thanks to Gully. So Arbroath 0, Dunfermline 2, a double for Andrew Todd there. Ayr United 1, Ross County 0, Queen's Park 0, Morton 0, Raith Rovers 0, St Johnstone 1 in League 1, Alloa Athletic 0, Montrose 0, East Fife 1, Queen of the South 1, Kelty Hearts 0, Stenhousemuir 1, and it is Peterhead 1, Hamilton Accies 1, 5:30 start. Cove Rangers at home to Inverness, Cally Thistle. And in League 2 this afternoon, Annan Athletic 0, Clyde 4, Edinburgh City 1, East Kilbride 2, Elgin City 1, Stirling Albion 0, Forfar 2, Dumbarton 1, Stranraer 0, Spartans 0, Stranraer down to 10 men. And in England, lunchtime kick-off, Arsenal 3, Spurs 0, Bournemouth 1, Brighton 0, Crystal Palace 0, Sunderland 0, Everton 0, Aston Villa 0, Fulham 0, Leeds United 0, Newcastle United 1, Wolves 0. Time again for a choice of listening here on BBC Radio Scotland. So we have the option of the commentary match. That commentary match comes from Ibrox. It's been a great first half there, so you can tune into Radio Scotland Extra on BBC Sounds Digital and 810 medium wave for all the goals from across Scotland. You'll find that on Open All Mics on Radio Scotland on BBC Sounds and 92 to 95 FM, and both options are on our website bbc.co.uk/Sport Scotland.
Football from Sports Sound
on BBC Radio Scotland.
Welcome back to Ibrox. Sides are yet to come back out, but what I can tell you is it looks very much like Rangers are going to make a double change at the break. There's going to be a debut for new central defender Derek Cornelius, and Oliver Antman is also out there. Two of them both stripped to play and warming up on the Ibrox pitch right now before either sets of players come out. I wonder, I mean, you can certainly understand Stephen bringing on Antman for probably one of the wide players. Interesting that they would bring on a centre back. I mean, I thought maybe they would go, they would use the fact that he's a left-sided central defender and maybe move Suter onto the right. That would be a more natural pairing for me. I wonder if that would be the change.
It's either that or they go to a back three and be more aggressive and get more width with two wider players that, if you can play it right, become wingers. But there's not a natural reason why you would bring on a centre half when you're 1-0 down at home. but Rangers definitely need to do something. First half going forward is far too passive. They allowed Hearts to sit back in their shape at the right times, and their only two real chances come from moments from individuals rather than a pattern of play or anything that gets you into the final third. So it's a big 45 minutes for Rangers, and for Hearts. Hearts will continue to play the way they have. I think they've been really good. They've been composed. They've been the team that's dictated the tempo of the game. They've slowed it down. I think a lot of their recruitment this summer has been players that are unknown, but what they do have is they make good decisions. They pick the right moment to attack. They pick the right moment to allow their team to get up the pitch and control the tempo of the game, and that's been the biggest thing I've noticed in the first half.
Well, we still await both sides coming out for the second period, but Hearts will be well pleased with the start they've made to this game. They have been here and led at times before, and then found themselves pegged back, so they will be aware that it's by no means done and dusted as Rangers re-emerge. John Souttar is there, so let's keep an eye. We don't see Nasser Giga, so it could be a straight swap at the back. What that does allow, Stephen, is John Souttar, he is a guy who can bring the ball out from the back, but as I mentioned in the first half, when he's doing it on the kind of left-hand side, it does look that bit more awkward, and it's always kind of closed off. So if he's playing on his natural side, and Cornelius is obviously on his natural side, that would also seem to kind of make sense. It allows both to progress up the park that bit more naturally. Just looking to see who else is coming off. Gassama's going across to the left-hand side, so Antman replaces Moore.
Yeah, I think as you touched on with the centre half there, it probably just allows that speed of pass and speed of play a bit quicker, because the centre halves are opening out on their stronger foot. I think Moore had a tough time in the first half. He wasn't getting much joy going forward, so I can understand that change, but the biggest thing they'll need is that tempo, that speed of play, passing the ball forward quickly.
Okay, well, Hearts back out now, and no changes for them, which is not at all surprising given the performance they put in that first period. So we're good to go. Rangers to kick us off second half. Further boos, not sure exactly what that's for. It could be for anything really at Ibrox these days, but Rangers get us going once more. Majowski plays it back to Asgard, who sends it out to this right hand side. Kingsley gets there ahead of Antman, who played brilliantly, you'd have to say, on his debut here against Victoria Pilsen, and certainly when I've seen him since has really failed to replicate that kind of level of performance, but I'll be hoping he can do so this afternoon to try and inspire a Rangers comeback, as Cornelius gets his first couple of touches in a Rangers jersey, the Canadian international who scored a cracking free kick against Wales in the international break. And here he is in possession once more, and certainly that balance at the back and the central defence is something that's been lacking for Rangers. Here he has played it square to John Souttar, just inside his own half, plays it forward into the feet of Majowski. A poor touch from Majowski under a bit of pressure. Shanklin picks up and plays it forward. Braga bursting a gut to try and get there ahead of Tavernier, but the Rangers skipper does get there first, and then Butland, though, just manages to keep that in. A poor pass back from Tavernier, and Rangers starting the second period in much the same fashion, with a lack of quality, a lack of cohesion in their play, and Hearts have a throw-in well advanced down this left-hand side, which Stephen Kingsley will try and send into the penalty area here, as Hearts look to continue to make life difficult for the home side. And certainly if they were to get a second goal, you would see home fans leaving, you would see more discord among those who are still here. As Souttar deals with a long throw, but it comes back in from Kiziridis. Shanklin helps it on again. Gassama's clearance comes to Kingsley, left hand side of the box. He helps it back in, decent ball. Gassama again with the clearing header, this time picked up by Antman. Closed down by Kingsley, but Antman, the Finnish winger, retrieves it back to Tavernier just outside his own box. Now Diamondi, Antman for Barron. Diamondi was taken out of play off the ball, but Asgard picks up, and it's over on the left hand side now. with Magoma into Cornelius, midway inside his own half. Grey skies over Ibrox, but I don't think it's raining just now. If it is, it's just very light. At Tavernier, grey skies could be very much a metaphor for the way things are going for Rangers right now, as Kiziridis plays it forward down the left-hand side for Braga, who's looked an excellent signing in his early stages of his Hearts career. He gets the nutmeg on Suter, who manages to recover well. Then the ball out from the back from Cornelius is cut out by Devlin, but Rangers recover. Then Majowski tries to find Asgarn again. That link-up isn't on point, and Hearts pick up once more, but it's given straight back to Tavernier. Now it's Barron, midway inside his own half, comes back the way and out to the left-hand side to Magoma.
That's an example there, Al, of where Rangers need to get. Barron needs to play forward there. He's got nobody within 5-10 yards of him, and he doesn't play the forward pass. He ends up going back, and what happens now is Hearts just sit in their shape, and that's what's a big issue here for Rangers in this game.
Here's Suter out to the right-hand side for Antman, looking to move away from Kingsley, just runs into Devlin, who gets the challenge in, then Shankland. Tavernier gives it straight to Beningame. The Rangers passing hasn't been good enough. Antman fouling Kingsley. That was a late challenge, and Kingsley's taken a sore one, staying down, and I think he's going to avoid the yellow card, but certainly a free kick to Hearts midway inside their own half. And if Russell Martin was looking for a more positive start to this half from Rangers, he certainly hasn't had it. I mean, Stephen, you've been in dressing rooms both as a player and a manager, and you just, as you said it before, players need to surely stand up in a Rangers jersey and take responsibility. There's some experienced players out there, yeah, there's some young guys, but there's some players who've been round the block, and they just need to kind of take the game by the scruff of the neck almost.
They do. They need ever more. When you're 1-0 down is where you need to have a calm head and be brave enough and be confident enough to play forward passes and ask the team that's coming here to defend. That's what the Rangers are not doing. I think far too many are playing the safe option. The example I said earlier about Barron has got to be on the half turn and play forward. When he doesn't do that, it basically gives the advantage to Hearts, because they allow back into their shape and they can work from there. I actually think this game's sitting right on a pivotal point at the moment, that Hearts, even in the second half, have pickpocketed Rangers a couple of times and it's just not ended up in a chance. But if this keeps happening, Hearts will get another big chance, and this is the fine margins in a game. It's definitely on a knife edge.
Hearts free kick then to be taken by the goalkeeper Alexander Shvolov. There are a couple of decent saves in that first period. Kingsley will be fine to return just in a moment or two, as Shvolov just looks to his manager, who tells him to send this one long. And here the German does exactly that, down the left-hand side, but straight out of play. I'm not sure that's what Derek McInnes was
allows
signalling.
Kingsley back on.
Rangers then with a throw in midway inside their own half, taken by Tavernier into Cornelius at the edge of his own penalty area. Rangers haven't started a season as poorly since under Graham Souness in 89-90. He had also 4 points after 4 games, just 5 after 5 games, which is what Rangers would have if they were able to get a draw from this one. But even at the moment, that looks like it might not happen, as Diamonde finds Magoma. Central area, out to the left-hand side to Gassama. Let's see what he can do on that left-hand side. Takes on McEntee, but Milne on the cover slides out of play. Those two have combined for Hearts really well defensively, doubling up when they've needed to, and keeping Rangers at bay.
Really well. Milne's got that defensive mindset, so he picks the spaces that are left.
Gassama almost latching onto a long throw in there from Magoma, but it just bounces away from him and behind for a goal kick. Not a bad idea there from the young fullback, but just too much on the throw-in for Gassama to bring it under control.
Alan, that there's an example of getting the tempo up. I know it doesn't come to anything, but see that initial instinct to get the ball back and play quickly and ask the team to defend. That's what Rangers need to do to generate that tempo.
Goal kick taken by Shvolov, won by Suter. Devlin claiming for a handball there against Majowski, but it breaks kindly for Braga out to the left-hand side for Kiziridis. Coming inside, Tavernier gets the shot away, blocked by the head of Suter, breaks back for Beningame, and now it's Devlin, middle of the park, out to the left-hand side for Stephen Kingsley. Across comes Antman to close him down. Kingsley with a step over, buys room for the cross, tries to stand it up, out comes Butland, and Harry Milne's challenge on Butland is penalised by the referee on the edge of the 6-yard box. Rangers get the free kick, and it's quickly taken. Barron gets it from Cornelius and then back to Cornelius and out to the left-hand side to Magoma. 52.5 played, Rangers 0, Hearts 1. Barron gives it away. He hasn't had a great game, Connor Barron, as Braga now picks out on the right-hand side. The advanced McEntee swings it in, back post. It comes to Kizaridis. Kizaridis with his shots swept away before it reaches the goal by Suter. Kizaridis will pick up once more left-hand side now. Near post ball for Braga. Braga manages to get it back to Devlin. Devlin 25 from goal, tries to pick out Shankland at the back post. Too much on it. Behind for a goal kick. 53 played. Rangers 0, Hearts 1.
That could have been a big chance for Hearts. Ball to the back post, Tavernier misjudges it. Kizaridis gets it at his feet. John Suter does well to clear it, but it's just feeding into that feeling that Hearts are in control.
Majowski on the halfway line, back to Barron. Barron leaves it to Tavernier. Forward now for Majowski into the Hearts half. He tries to thread it for Gassama. That looks like a good ball. Gassama into the box, left-hand side, cuts it back. Wouldn't come for either Antman or Asgard. It was behind the Norwegian, and Antman couldn't get there either. But it's a good pass certainly from Majowski to release Gassama. Not a bad idea, you would have to say, from the winger, but just couldn't pick out a teammate.
It's the speed of the passes. It's how quickly they know they're doing it before they receive the ball, and that's what opens up the chance for Gassama to get in behind the Hearts defence.
And here he is again, left-hand side, already looking more potent on that left flank, but having said that, he delivers a poor ball, and it's come out on this near side for a throw-in to Hearts. Deep in their own territory. Could be taken by Kingsley. As Russell Martin still patrolling the edge of his technical area, trying to get something onto Magoma there. Just telling him to push on to Harry Milne as Kingsley prepares to take this from deep in his own half. Long down the left-hand side, it's over Shankland. Braga gets something on it. Suter heads it back forward. Devlin's there first for Hearts. Suter once more just nods it back to Cornelius on the halfway line. He helps it forward, comes to Antman. And off Antman. Well, it looked like a Rangers throw-in, a Hearts throw-in to me, but given to Rangers. Eventually works out a play, and that will be a Hearts throw-in. Again, Rangers still unable to put too many moves of real threat. Hearts continue to impress here at Ibrox, and this would be a real landmark victory if they were able to see this one out. Still plenty of time to go in the second period though, as Diamonde has it midway inside the Hearts half. Looks to help it on to Asgard, but Milne comes across and knocks it back to Halkett. Over the halfway line from him, Suter's underneath it and nods it back to Butland. And Butland immediately plays it to Cornelius. Cornelius brings it forward and finds Barron. Barron back into Suter. Suter into the feet of Majowski. Suter once more, just inside his own half. Now it's Tavernier. Forward to Diamonde, right-hand side. Poor touch from him allows Finlay to step in and knock it out of play.
Majowski dropped out the off the top line there and received the ball for John Suter. As that happens, you need an Asgard or a Diamande to run in behind. Everybody's still looking for the ball to feet, and it's a missed opportunity. Change here with Rothwell coming on.
Yeah, a mixed reaction there to Rothwell coming on for Barron. It's not a surprising one, as I said a moment ago, that Connor Barron probably hadn't hit the heights he got to against Celtic. Let's see Asgard with a good bit of control, looking for a player to slip in. He can't see one, so he continues in possession. Now he knocks it back to Tavernier. Tavernier takes the shot on, but it was always curling away from goal from 25 yards. So it was good play from Asgard. He's got good feet, but maybe the movement ahead of him wasn't quite what he was looking for. Tavernier's effort, wide a goal. 56.5 played. Rangers 0, Hearts 1.
I think Rothwell coming on, the hope will be that when he can get the ball, he can play the forward passes that we're talking about. He's got a bit more experience than Barron, and I'm pretty sure that's why he'll be coming on the pitch. But that's going to be the biggest thing that needs to change here. When it's going into the six, can they play forward and at speed?
Goal kick taken long by Svolov. Rothwell gets his head to it over the halfway line. Halkett there. Then Milne chases it down for Shankland, the goal scorer. Suter then heads it forward to Diamonde, just inside his own half, looks for Rothwell, not once but twice. On neither occasion can he find him, but it comes out to Gassama left hand side. He'll try and skip away from a couple of challenges. He's done well, still Gassama, and then he runs into Cammy Devlin and dispossessed, just overdoing it in the end, having done well initially as Braga fails to keep it in. But he does look a more potent threat on that left hand side, Stephen.
He's definitely looked much more comfortable. Every time he's received it, he's wanting to go forward, he's wanting to go 1v1, and that's what's needed.
Here's Rothwell, back to Tavernier. Cornelius asks for it. Here he is, the Canadian, just inside his own half, into the feet of Asgard, who tries to lose Beningame. Back to Rothwell into the feet of Diamonde. That's a good ball. Now out to the right hand side for Antman. Antman can attack Kingsley here, into the penalty area he goes. Has he got a finishing product here? Pushed away by the keeper, blocked as Asgard tried to fire it towards goal, claimed for handball, nothing given. Tavernier on the edge of the box, pokes it to his left. It's Magoma who'll pick up. That'll be checked by VAR. Not obvious in the first instance as to whether there was a hand or otherwise, but it was an important block one way or the other. Rangers corner.
That pass from Rothwell is exactly what needs to happen. He receives it on the half turn, he plays Diomande in that pocket just behind the midfield, and it gets Antman in the final third 1v1. That's what needs to happen if things need to change for Rangers.
No indication that there's going to be a delay here, so I can only assume there was no handball involved as Tavernier prepares to swing in the corner. It's a good ball, Stramash in the middle of the 6-yard box, but Hearts managed to scramble it clear, and then down goes Braga under Majowski's challenge, and it will be a free kick to Hearts. But just for the first time really in the second period, Rangers looked to put Hearts under a bit of pressure, and Stephen said it all began with a forward pass from Rothwell, and then Asgard, who's looked most likely, you would have to say, for Rangers over the course of the game, finding his shot blocked on the way to goal. Looks like Hearts might ponder a change here of their own. Rangers already made 3 as we approach the hour mark. 1-0 Hearts lead as Suter gets it back from Tavernier. He's back to goal and he needs to take care here. Manages to squeeze it forward, but picked up by Rothwell. Then Asgard goes down under the challenge of Devlin, and it'll be a Rangers free kick midway inside their own half.
See, just going back to Rothwell coming on and a mixed response coming on the pitch. For any player at Rangers, it can be tough. Loads have been there, but these are the games that you can turn that around by having a freedom playing. And I must say, for the first 5 minutes he's been on, Rothwell has looked like the guy that's wanting to try and make their passes, make something happen. And it's the only way to change that feeling around the stands as you a player.
Yeah, he's just found another decent pass out to Gassama, who gets it back now from Magoma in a decent area left hand side, coming infield onto the right foot. Leaves it for Asgard, and now Magoma once more. Asgard takes over again, left hand side, curls it in near post. Easy one though for Halkett to deal with. Hearts certainly having to do more defending in this second period, as you would expect, and perhaps that's why Derek McInnes is about to go to his bench, but that's given away by Cornelius. Devlin steps in and Hearts can try and bring it forward. Devlin rolls it back to his goalkeeper as Declan John puts St Mirren in front, away to Falkirk. And Devlin picks up in the middle of the park. Loose pass from him though, and that allows Tavernier to come forward, bursting through the middle. It's Tavernier out to the left hand side for Gassama. Tries to take it on, first time off the post. So unlucky for Gassama. I have to say, I thought he would have been better taking the touch, but he almost proved me wildly wrong, and he's so unlucky to see that come off the upright. The keeper was nowhere near it.
Saying that like an experienced striker, I thought the same, but he's that type of forward. He likes coming in on that right hand side, and as it came across him, he's just opened his foot up to bend it round the goal, and he's very unlucky. But the tempo's definitely changed from Rangers this half. I think the players on the pitch are the ones that are most likely to give them something. Antman, Rothwell coming on, Gassama going out on the left hand side has definitely made a difference.
It's Michael Steinvender coming on for Hearts, a more natural right back perhaps than Sheen McEntee, who makes way. And he scored in the 3-1 defeat against Rangers last season, did Michael Steinvender, and he's on to defend this corner. Rangers coming as close as they have done to getting on the score sheet through Jiri Gassama, who's certainly upped his game in this second period, but still 1-0 Hearts as in comes a corner. It's over the top there So Majowski got his head to that one from Tavernier's corner, couldn't keep it down either way, and Hearts continue to lead by a 1-0. But certainly signs that Rangers have picked up in the second period. But still, they haven't been able to get a goal back, which might change the tide of feelings here at their home ground. Launched over the halfway line by Shvolov. Devlin will pick up and knock it back to Kingsley. Kingsley under pressure there from Antman, and he guides it back to his goalkeeper once more. He knocks it over the halfway line. Suter above Shankland there to nod it down for Asgar. Back to Magoma, midway inside his own half, left hand side for Rangers. Goals around the grounds: Aberdeen 0, Livy 0, Dundee 0, Motherwell 1. Dundee have actually got an equaliser there. I didn't hear about that one, but Falkirk trailing by a 0 against St Mirren. Here's Cornelius at the edge of the box. Hearts lead by a 0, 63 minutes in at Ibrox, as Rothwell picks up and tries to move away from a couple of Hearts players out to the left hand side for Gassama. Up against Steinvender now. Back with Rothwell. Rothwell clips it in. Decent ball. Oh, neither Diamondi nor Asgar, with glorious opportunities to make the connection, could do so from 8 yards out. Both of them almost left it to each other, and it drifts harmlessly beyond the post in the end after a good ball in from Joe Rothwell. That is a big chance to allow to go.
Massive chance.
Untaken.
Massive chance. And we talked earlier about Diamandi and Asgard making forward runs. In this chance, Rothwell does really well. It comes back to him. The two of them make brilliant runs. They're onside in the middle of the goal on the penalty spot, and both of them don't make any good connection. That should have been a goal.
The Rangers will feel they are knocking on the door right now, but as long as they fail to score, then Hearts will continue to feel pretty comfortable. Rangers have only scored 3 goals in their opening 4 matches of the season. Make that 4.5 now. As Suter rolls it square to Cornelius, just inside his own half. 64th played, Rangers 0, Hearts 1. Derek McInnes sending, he's actually calling on Paul Sheeran to come out for another word in his ear to just see how things are going. Rangers get the free kick.
It's the first time in the game, Al, that Hearts maybe are thinking we maybe need to change something. We might just need to tighten up a bit, because it is definitely the best period of the game for Rangers.
It looks like Yusuf Chermiti is going to come on shortly for his debut as Antman picks up and comes in field. Looks to try and link with Majowski, couldn't do so. And Hearts spring possession away from the edge of their own penalty area. Roswell challenges Shankland, nothing given. Diamondi picks up. Devlin makes a challenge, still Diamondi for Tavernier. Diamondi goes down at the edge of the box, still play continues. It's Antman now, right hand side of the area. Up against Kingsley, tries to cut it back for Diamondi. His shot's blocked, but Ingham's clearance comes out to this left hand side for Kiziridis. He squeezes it back to Kingsley. Now Devlin closed down. It's it back to Kiziridis in the left hand side. Still Hearts pinned into their own defensive area, but have worked it clear as Kingsley sends it up to the halfway line. The Rangers fans like what they're seeing a bit better now as Chermiti prepares to come on. I wonder if that'll be a like for like with Majowski, who hasn't had too many glimpses of goal. Here's Gassama into Asgard. Asgard at the edge of the box, back out to Magoma left hand side. Gets to the byline, cross goal it comes, and at the near post Shvolov just parries it away behind for a corner, and Chermiti I think will come on before this can be taken, and actually it's going to be Magoma who comes off. So it's not the first time Russell Martin has decided to go for broke, and certainly taking off a left back and putting on a striker is an interesting swap.
I think you'll see now Tavernier just sitting that wee bit deeper as a back three, and Rangers pushing more bodies forward. I think this change in tempo has come from Rothwell mainly, by the way. He's done really good off the ball work and in possession as well.
Chermiti on then for a debut and looking to get on the end of this corner. It's sent in by Tavernier, met by Shankland at the near post. High up in the air, can Rangers scramble ahead to the net? They can! Referee has pointed though for a free kick. It's chopped off. I'm not sure what he's seen in there, but Rangers protest, and presumably it'll be checked. I'm not sure if the ball was in the net before the whistle was blown. I would imagine it should have been, because usually the referees are instructed to let the attacking phase finish, but Stephen McLean ultimately pointing for a Hearts free kick, and now it'll be checked in the VAR. Sweep by Greg Aitken, and that has been backed up by the VAR, and Rangers' goal, their equaliser, does not stand. No goal. I don't know if you saw, it was a bit of a melee, Stephen, after Shankland won the header, went high up in the air.
And John Souttar ran from distance to try and get in around it, but I'm not sure he made contact with anybody, so whether it's somebody under the ball that's grappling or banging into the defender who is going to head the ball.
James Tavernier having a long word with Stephen McLean here, and either way, Rangers. And Tavernier's actually been booked for presumably being too vehement in his protest there. The captains, of course, are allowed to speak to the referee, but it has to be done in a respectful manner, and Stephen McLean presumably thinking he'd overstepped the mark there as he protested the chalking off of Rangers' goal. So 1-0 it remains to Hearts, 68 and a half played.
It looks as if Rangers are setting up with that back three. Rothwell sitting as a 6, Antman one side and Gassami the other, so they are definitely going with it with the two strikers up front.
Here come Hearts though, looking to sort of take advantage of that let off from what the Rangers thought was an equaliser, but also perhaps trying to take advantage of Rangers going a bit more attacking. Here's Chermiti with his first touch, taken out of play there by Finlay. Rangers continue in possession. Antman looked to be offside, and the referee stopped for a foul and a yellow card for Stuart Finlay, and it'll be a Rangers free kick in the halfway line. So Rangers free kick with 21 to play. They trail by a goal to nil. Hearts were certainly the better side in the first period. I think it would be fair to say Rangers have changed that second half. Brilliant run by Joe Roswell, but eventually just runs out of ideas and goes down and loses possession, and Hearts come forward quickly, and it's Shankland finding Braga on the left hand side up against John Souttar here, tries to get it back across goal, looking for Shankland. He gets a break of the ball back off Souttar, now he hits the byline, tries to force it across goal, and it comes off Tavernier and behind for a Hearts corner. 1-0 the visitors lead.
Hearts still a threat on the attack. I think they've weathered that bit of a storm from Rangers, and they are still a big threat on the counter attack. Braga and Shankland are carrying that threat. Rothwell's not looking great here. He's hardly moved from the moment he collided with the defender, but I'm not sure whether the injuries came from before and he's just went down, and as he's gone down he's collided with the defender, but he's looking as if he's not moving great at all.
Yeah, that's a concern, because he has made a difference since coming on, but it looks to be in quite a degree of discomfort, having made that bursting run forward. It was Derek Cornelius, apparently, I can really tell from here, who prodded the ball home just a few minutes ago, thinking he'd scored on his debut, but seems to have been disallowed for a push on the goalkeeper, Alexander Svolov. Whether that was by Cornelius or otherwise, I'm not entirely sure. 50,697 inside Ibrox today as the rain resumes, and Hearts will have the corner kick once the game resumes after treatment to Joe Rothwell. Also, Martin will be keen to see him getting back on the field of play, as Hearts corner on the left hand side will be taken by Kizaridis. A couple of Hearts subs doing a fairly vigorous warm-up, and there might be further changes to come from Derek McInnes' side in the not too distant future.
They've put some shift in, the Hearts players, in their moments, like I said, when Rangers have tried to start the game quickly, they've got back into shape and they've defended in the shape they've needed to. but they've also had numbers in attack. So I think at this moment in the game, getting a bit of freshness on can probably help with this last 20 minutes that are going to be, you'd expect to be entertaining.
Well, this might be the kind of time you would hope to have Nico Raskan on your bench to bring on if your initial change at number 6 is going to have to go off. And Roswell making his way off the field of play, and he looks extremely uncomfortable, and I think Bayrami is going to have to come on for him. Limping pretty heavily there, Joe Roswell, trying to run it off, and maybe will feel he can continue, although Bayrami is being prepared. Just having a word here with Russell Martin, and it looks like he's going to give it a go, Joe Roswell, but Rangers have got a corner to defend here with 10 men. Just at the moment, as Kizaridis stands over this corner on the left-hand side. Hearts looking for a second goal, which might clinch the points for them. And it comes from Kizaridis, a good ball. It's Suter who gets his head tipped first inside his own 6-yard box. Chermiti barges into Devlin there, but Hearts pick up anyway on the angle of the box. Kingsley just tries to slide it into the penalty area. It's cleared here, and Chermiti picks up, but again can't get beyond Devlin. And now it's Braga on the left-hand side. Kizaridis takes over into the penalty area. Back goes Gassama to knock it to Suter, and now Chermiti will try and latch onto it, but Milne in the way, and he picks up possession. Gets out to the right-hand side to Shanklin. We've got about 16 minutes to play of the 90. Shanklin sends it in from the right-hand side, and Kizaridis with an eventual effort after a mix-up between Gassama and Tavernier, but a comfortable take for Jack Butland. 1-0 remains to Hearts here at Ibrox.
Rangers need to get that tempo back in the game that they had 5-6 minutes ago. Hearts are doing really well, staying in their shape. And what I will say is, I think if Derek McInnes makes changes, I don't think he'll change too much. I'm not sure he'll sit in. He'll keep the same shape. It's worked really well, and they have still carried a threat.
Certainly have. Here's Suter out to the left-hand side. Cornelius. And Gassama takes over on that left flank. Cornelius goes outside of him, the big centre back, but instead it's Gassama forward looking for Asgar, and the pass goes astray, and Baringame just knocks it out of play over on the far side, the Rangers left. Taken by Roswell, who's still looking to shake off the effects of that knock he took a few minutes ago. Tavernier now in the halfway line, into the feet of Chermiti, back to Antman, still 10 yards inside the Hearts half, onto the halfway line to Tavernier, who tries to switch play out to Gassama. Poor touch from Gassama allows Milne to step in, but he's gifted it straight back to the winger and needs Steinbender to slide in and knock it out of play. Rangers throw in about 10 yards from the corner flag on the left-hand side. Still they trail by a goal to nil with a quarter of an hour left.
This is the moments I'm talking about, Al, where you're down 1-0, 15 minutes to go, and everybody's walking. There's no real intensity, there's no real urgency. There needs to be, and now that's allowed Hearts to have somebody go down, get a bit of treatment and slow the game down again. There is no real urgency that if as that ball goes out for a throw-in, somebody's over there quickly, get the ball back in play, because you're wanting it in play. And again, as I said, asking the defensive team to defend. But Hearts, as they've done in the first half, are controlling this second half, the tempo of it, the speed of the game, and when it's flowing fast and when it's slow.
Hearts are going to make a triple change just now, actually. Kizaridis is going to be replaced by Thomas Magnusson. It's going to be a return for Jamie McCart as well from injury. And Braga is being replaced by Kabangu. That's a relatively straightforward swap, that one. And just went to see who McCart's coming on for. That is Stephen Kingsley, who went down just a moment ago. Presumably, we'll see. Well, I was going to say we'll see Harry Milne maybe come back onto the left-hand side. Stephen indicating possibly going to a back five, which seems highly likely.
Yeah, I think the spaces in the wider areas now, with Rangers taking off, are going with a back three. I think the space in the wide areas will help Hearts, but also keeping the two strikers on the pitch, Shanklin and Kabangu, is definitely going to keep that threat. Also looks as if Rothwell's coming off here for Amy, so unfortunately for Rothwell, he had a good impact, but he's had to go off.
Yeah, that is disappointing because it also just limits Rangers' further changes as they have a throw-in over on the far side in an advanced area into the feet of Asgar. Now back with Gassama on that left flank. Asgar once more, quickly closed down by Kabangu. Another Rangers throw-in. This one goes back the way to Cornelius, and he goes further back to Suter, almost back to the halfway line as Tavernier now gets it in the centre circle. Forward he comes and plays it out to Antman, who hasn't really managed to get overly involved, and then is easily dispossessed by Milne, who is over in this left-hand side now. Milne feeds it forward, looking for Kabangu. Suter alive to it though, and gets the pass off to Asgar there. Rangers have it through the Norwegian Asgar. Suter into the feet of Chermiti, gets turned, loses out to Vaningame, and actually concedes the free kick for the challenge as well. St Mirren have gone 2 up on Falkirk, with Mikael Mandron getting that second goal for them. So it's a good afternoon for Stephen Robinson in his 400th game as a manager. Pretty impressive going. Hearts free kick then, just about 15 yards outside their penalty area. And it's knocked over the halfway line by Svolov. Shankland able to bring it out the air and play it to Milne. Back goes Diamondi on the edge of his own penalty. I think he's hammered that off John Suter, and it's out for a Hearts throw-in. And time is very much against Rangers here. 11 minutes of the 90 left for them to find at least an equaliser. Otherwise, Hearts are going top of the table and going 9 points clear of their opponents today. It should be quite astonishing as Milne takes his time over the throw-in and eventually goes to Shankland, gets it back into the penalty area. He comes, Harry Milne. Rangers have got to be careful. Yeah. Stephen Milne's given the penalty. It was a poor looking challenge from Mohamed Diamondi, and things threatening to go from bad to worse for Rangers as Harry Milne, who has been terrific again this afternoon, drove into the area. Diamondi dangled the leg. Down went Harry Milne, and Stephen McLean points to the spot. It will be checked by VAR, of course, but on first viewing, Stephen, what was your take?
Thought it was a penalty. I think Harry Milne comes inside on his left foot, and as he gets into the box, he comes across the defenders, and at that moment you cannot give the referee a chance, give the forward a chance. Being a forward, you're waiting for that moment, and I think Diamondi sticks a leg out and brings him down. There's no reason for Milne to go down. He's going to get a shot off.
Well, it's been checked by Greg Aitken, who chopped off Rangers' equaliser about 10 minutes ago. What is the decision this time from the VAR? Certainly looked like a penalty from our position, albeit we are, kind of behind the action. But Stephen McLean awaiting instructions from Greg Aitken in the VAR room. Lawrence Shankland with the ball on the spot in just a few moments to try and beat Jack Butland for the second time this afternoon, and the penalty is confirmed. It will be a Hearts penalty, and let's see if Lawrence Shankland can put Hearts that step closer to 3 points here at Ibrox this afternoon. A long-awaited 3 points at Ibrox for Hearts. It's a huge moment for Shankland and for Hearts' season. The Hearts skipper steps up from 12 yards, takes a few steps back. This could be massive, one way or the other. It's Lawrence Shankland against Jack Butland. Up steps the Hearts captain, right-footed, saved by Butland, on the rebound, scores! Lawrence Shankland, at the second time of asking, makes it Rangers 0, Hearts 2, and that could be game over.
Yeah, it's a long way back for Rangers now, and Hearts have deserved this. The performance has been really good. It's been professional, and see if I'm honest, it's a Derek McInnes performance. They've been really good out of possession, they've been organised, and they've carried a threat the whole game. The goals that have been conceded have been really poor from a Rangers point of view, and there's probably not enough Rangers players on the pitch at the moment willing to grasp this game throughout the 90 minutes, and that's ultimately cost them, and that's why they're 2-0 down.
Lawrence Shankland denied from the spot by Jack Butland, but sharp enough to respond and slide it past the Rangers keeper to give his side a 2-goal advantage with 7.5 to play. This is some salvage operation now for Rangers. But Hearts have been terrific throughout, and Ibrox emptying pretty rapidly now. Swathes of blue seats becoming more and more evident around the stadium as the home fans lose faith with what they're seeing in front of them. It's just 3 wins from 11 this season for Rangers coming into this one. That looks like it's going to get worse as Shankland feeds it forward, and it's really difficult to see, despite Russell Martin saying that the new owners have continued to back him. It's becoming more and more difficult for them to do so, as Antman manages to keep the ball in play. Now it's Bayrami on for the injured Rothwell. Antman once more hasn't made an impact, and he's dispossessed pretty easily by Devlin. Now it's Shankland feeding it forward, looking for Cabangu down the left hand side. Suter with him. Cabangu almost at the corner flag. Looks to try and get the better of Suter. He's just hauled to the ground by John Suter, who seemed to really be tiring, and it's a yellow card for the Rangers defender. And Dundee have had a man sent off, Jan Danda.
That's excellent play from Hearts. They win the ball back. Rangers are committing. Cammy Devlin plays a good ball into Shanks, and Shankland plays the right pass. He doesn't force it, he doesn't try to go for a goal, he plays it down the channel for Cabangu, who's fresh, who sees he's got a 1v1 against centre half and wins a free kick. It's brilliant play from Hearts, but we've seen it the whole game.
The away fans jubilant over on the far side as they have an opportunity here to perhaps add a third. It's going to be Milne with a left-footed free kick, deep one. Shankland will return it into the middle of the penalty area. Halkett gets it back to Devlin, that's blocked on its way goalwards. Now it's Cabangu though, out to the left-hand side for Milne once again, who won the penalty. Swings it back in, Suter heads clear. 5 to play, Rangers 0, Hearts 2. Hearts heading for a first win here since 2012. Brian Graham's got one back for Falkirk at St Mirren. Well, against St Mirren at home. It's 2-1 now. That's St Mirren lead at the Falkirk Stadium. 1-1 Dundee against Motherwell, 0-0 Aberdeen Livy. Hibs United to come shortly after this one. Live commentary right here on Sportsline on BBC Radio Scotland. Will there be a more gripping tale than this one though today at Ibrox, with Hearts looking set to go clear at the top of the table, with Celtic in action tomorrow away to Kilmarnock. That will also be live here on Sportsound as Asgard feeds it forward, looking for Chermiti. Chermiti tries to bring it out of the air. Out comes Svolov. Svolov's got something on it. Offside flags up, and although play continues and Bayrami clips the bar, the offside flag had long gone up against Chermiti, and it remains Rangers 0, Hearts 2. And Stephen, let me put this to you. I said a couple of weeks ago on the website that when the fans have turned to this degree, I don't recall really at any club, but certainly at Rangers, a manager being able to keep his job. Do you see a way that Russell Martin can do that?
It's a big ask. I think that he said it before the game, any of the associates, just win games. That's all you can do. It's the only way you can stop the flow of negativity. I said it again at the start of the programme, that the intensity that's required to be a manager of the Old Firm is probably unrivaled out with the elite of the elite, because the the support base, how much it means to the fans, and that's the biggest thing. So things need to change quickly, but performances like today will not wash.
The fans certainly making their views clear. And the problem for Russell Martin is it's not a minority, it's not even a vocal minority, it is large swathes of the Rangers support. And although their second half performance has been better, they had a goal chalked off at 1-0. They've still not done enough as Chermiti brings the ball down. As Bayrami's ball in from the right, it's a poor one, an easy take from Svolov there. We've got 2.5 minutes of the 90 left to play, plus a bit of stoppage time. But there's going to be further questions for Russell Martin to answer of a negative variety in the wake of this, what looks like almost certainly a defeat here at Ibrox. We've got a throw-in over on the far side. It'll be taken by Cornelius. Looks like Darren McInnes is going to engineer Hearts' first victory over Rangers since 2020 of any sort. Down goes Cabangu as he clipped note. The referee waves him to his feet, and Rangers will pick up possession. Bayrami overruns a brilliant challenge from Devlin. Devlin now steps away from Tavernier. It's been excellent again, Cammy Devlin. And now Milne, who's also been superb. That's given away in the middle of the park by Magnuson. And now Bayrami back to Tavernier. 90 seconds to play, plus stoppage time as Halkett knocks it back to his goalkeeper. Svolov clears first time, and ultimately Rangers have not made Svolov in his debut work remotely hard enough.
Not at all, and that has been a big problem. And as much as the story is going to be about the negativity of Rangers, Hearts' performance and Derek McInnes' tactics have been spot on.
Yeah, that can't be lost in this unravelling of the story here as Spittle prepares to come on. Hearts have been terrific as Oscar sends it in looking for Majowski. He can't get there. Hearts get it cleared to the edge of the box. It's Tavernier. Bayrami tries to help it on out to this right hand side to Antman. Then Tavernier does likewise. You get too much on it, behind for a goal kick, and with less than a minute left of the 90, Rangers trailing by 2-0. 2 Lawrence Shankland goals to nil. One in the first half and another in the second. A rebound from a penalty that was saved by Butland, but slotted in by the deadly Hearts striker at the second time of asking. And with only stoppage time to play, this looks like a forlorn task for Rangers. The last time they had fewer points after 5 games was Graham Souness had 5 points after 5 games in 89-90. You have to go even further back for it to be fewer than that. But 7 minutes added on here. But even though that's a pretty big number for Hearts to see out, Rangers have given their fans very little hope that even in that period they'll be able to claw anything back, as it's played up to Chermiti. Gives it back to Gassama, still inside his own half. Now it's Asgar. Asgar pokes it back the way to Suter. He's on the edge of his own box. And now Tavernier. Cabangu chasing back. Tavernier gets the pass off to Antman. Antman comes in field and goes back to Suter. Almost gives that straight to Shankland, but Ingumi can't get there ahead of Asgar. Gets lucky there, Suter. Now it's Cornelius bringing Rangers forward. Out to Gassama. A goal now can make things very interesting, you'd have to say, despite what I've been saying about Rangers. Here's Bayrami, edge of the box. Out to Antman. Antman back to Bayrami. Will anyone take on responsibility for a shot? It's Antman again. Wins the corner off Harry Milne on the right hand side. Rangers just seem to lack belief though.
It's been the story of the match. They do really well to get it on the edge of the box. Antman's got a 1v1. Bayrami and him make a couple of passes and they don't get a shot off.
Tavernier from the right hand side with the corner. Outswinger met with a head there by Asgar, but straight into the body of Svolov. Again, he holds it comfortably, and with a minute and a half of the 90, with the 7 minutes added on played, it's still Rangers 0, Hearts 2. Thumped over the halfway line by Svolov. Tavernier gets it to Diamondi, who gave away that penalty kick. Bayrami now on the halfway line, right hand side into Antman, back with Bayrami up towards
Chermiti. Forced back the way though, he's giving it straight to Cabangu. He's going to have to go back and defend this himself, but Devlin finds Shankland. He was caught there. Hearts free kick, and now they'll get the Hearts change, and it will be Lawrence Shankland who's replaced for the final few minutes by Blair Spittle. And again, he's played a captain's part out there with the 2 goals that almost certainly looks like it's going to win the 3 points. And Stephen, you know as well as anyone what that man can offer Hearts.
I think his performance today looks back to maybe over a year ago. Last season, contract out, coming up, a lot playing in his mind, I would imagine. But for the 2 seasons before that, that performance today was more like what he produced in their moments. For Rangers coming forward, it doesn't get any easier next week. They've got the League Cup against Hibs, which is going to be another huge test for them.
Absolutely, it does not get any more straightforward. It's Magnuson out on the right hand side for Hearts. We've got 4 minutes of added on time left to play as Rangers try and get the ball back down near the corner flag, get the throw in forward for Gassama back the way to Asgard, and the angle of his own penalty, he plays it forward, but it's a hopeful ball and it's a poor one really from Tello Asgard. And for a man who scored a hat-trick for Norway in the international break, it's not really happened for him, albeit he's had probably Rangers' best couple of attempts over the course of the afternoon.
I think the last 10 minutes have been just get the whistle blowing, this game's done. I think that's been shown. There's not been really any pressure from Rangers, and Hearts have been really comfortable.
Here's Cabangu out on the right hand side, gets the better of Suter once more, bursts into the penalty area, out comes Butland to smother at his feet, and bowls it out to Cornelius. Now it's Diamonde coming forward for Rangers, still inside his own half. Tavernier crossing the halfway line. Antman and Bayrami make the run. It's clipped for Antman. He'll do well to get that in, and doesn't really even attempt to play it into the penalty area. I thought he could have at least made that effort, but just seen out of play. And Hearts again survive, and Rangers just look impotent almost coming forward. The threat up front for all the attacking players on there, they've just offered so little.
There has been no real attempts that you can do. The 2 in the first half that were moments from 25 yards out, but there's been no real big chances for any Rangers forwards.
Yeah, Majorski has fed off scraps really, and since he's come on, Chermiti's not been able to get involved at all as Hearts see this out pretty comfortably. There's only really a smattering of Rangers fans left inside the ground, but you can be fairly sure that when the whistle does blow, they will be making their feelings known once again to the boards here as Suter takes possession of the ball inside his own box. 2 minutes to play as Tavernier has it. 2-0 Hearts lead at Ibrox, on course for a first top flight victory since 2012 here. First victory of any kind since Osman So's last minute winner gave them a win in the championship on the first day in 2014.
For me, this is a statement of victory for Hearts. I think they played Aberdeen first game of the season. It was a good win, but this is a big, from all the noise that's come out of the club, the investment in the summer, the analytics, it's a statement result.
Well, I'm not sure I've ever heard a Rangers support turn on their manager quite as much as is happening right now. As Cornelius plays it square to John Suter on the halfway line. Even now there's no urgency. I mean, maybe they just accept that they're a beaten team as Cornelius plays it into the penalty area, headed half clear. Diamonde picks up on the edge of the box, out to the left hand side to Gassama. Onto the right foot, try and go for goal. It's blocked by Magnuson, and now it breaks for Cabangu, who's up against Suter here one-on-one. Back comes Tavernier, and out to the left hand side it goes to Spittle. Spittle just needs to try and keep possession with 30 seconds of added on time remaining. Milne now tries to force it forward, comes off by Rami, still in play. Spittle forward for Cabangu. Rangers have it back through Tavernier, and now Suter. Here's
Cornelius on the halfway line. It has been another insipid display from the home side under Russell Martin. And it really does appear now time is ticking as Hearts manage to clear the lines once again. Devlin knocks it over the halfway line. We've gone beyond the 7 minutes. Still play continues, but certainly there's not enough time for Rangers to get anything from this game. Butland goes long, headed away by McCart back there. Magnuson just stumps it over the halfway line. Cabango will go and chase against Suter. Wants his goalkeeper to come and get it. He doesn't. He backtracks instead. And now it's Cabango up against Suter. Magnuson arriving at the back post. He'll get the shot away off the post. Hearts almost getting a third goal at the death. There goes the final whistle. The boos absolutely deafening. Russell Martin straight down the tunnel there as his side fall to defeat here. That is 5 games in the league without a victory. As Hearts, let's give them as much credit as Rangers receive criticism, because Hearts were absolutely fantastic today and thoroughly deserved the 3 points earned for them by 2 Lawrence Shankland goals, one in the first half firing across Jack Butland and into the far post, and in the second period, after Harry Milne was brought down by Mohamed Diamonde, Shankland denied by Butland from the spot, but on hand to tuck home the rebound. Rangers, in fairness, had up their game second half as Asgar had a goal-bound shot blocked on the line. Gassama hit the post just after the hour, and then Derek Cornelius on his debut had a goal chalked off for an apparent push on the goalkeeper. But Rangers could not muster an equaliser, and then in the 82nd minute came that Shankland second, and from that point on it was quite clear Rangers were destined for defeat, and Hearts were destined to move to the top of the table on 13 points, unbeaten in the league, dropping points just the once, and they moved 3 points clear of Celtic, who play tomorrow. It's been a fabulous start under Derek McInnes. Lots of plaudits to them. But for Russell Martin, it's simply gone from bad to worse as the Hearts fans, jubilant over on the far side, celebrate as the team goes across to take their applause from them. And it finishes at Ibrox. Rangers 0, Hearts 2.